The anime begins with Hayato and a young girl running between the rubble and the wrecked houses. A monster, known as the Savage, emerges and fires a beam nearby, injuring the girl severely. An adult Hayato awakes from this nightmare as he is on a plane to Little Garden Academy. When Hayato first steps foot in there, he's quite popular as all students there gather around him due to his high compatibility with the 100 technology. All want his autograph so bad. Hayato evades all of them just to be found and hugged so tightly by another admirer, Emil. Later, Hayato meets Ryusha and Fritz, a duo that seems to bicker all the time. When the Academy's president, Claire, starts delivering her speech, two students show up late. After having been waiting for Hayato at the airport, Claire dismisses their excuses as lame and therefore decides to expel them from the school. Emil protests and calls Claire on abusing her power as, after all, a little mistake like this doesn't necessitate expulsion. Claire replies they're here to become slayers and fight savages. Therefore, she must instill discipline, as any mistake, even though small, in battle might be fatal in the battlefield. When Claire commands respect, Emil gets more belligerent and argues that he doesn't need to. After all, Hayato is better than her when it comes to using weapons. Claire then asks Hayato for his opinion about expelling the girls, to which Hayato replies that she should reconsider, seeing that he is the reason behind the problem. Claire tells him she'll do so, only if Hayato fights her and beats her in a duel. Hayato gets more uneasy about how he'll beat Claire on a duel if he's never used any 100 weapons before. Charlotte, a young and innovative scientist, hands Hayato his 100 weapon, which is specifically designed for him. It fits his personality and is compatible with his skills. The 100 is a small stone that can generate armors and weapons for their owners. Each owner has his own and unique 100. Claire's, for instance, can activate cannons, which she can control. Emil prepares Hayato for the battle and starts practicing. Both put on their suits and activate their 100s. Emil attacks Hayato. Hayato, albeit unknowingly, successfully blocks and dodges his attacks. Stunned, Emil tells him he'll win the duel with such skills. Following their practice, Hayato checks his phone to find loads of unread messages from his sister who's at the hospital, as he reveals the reason behind enrolling in this academy was to provide for his ill sister. Hayato visits his little sister, Karen, to find her upset over not returning her calls or texting back, so Hayato apologizes and kisses her on the forehead. Karen asks Hayato about how his first day at the academy was, but before Hayato answers, the nurse comes in and tells him visiting hours are over. Hayato returns to his dorm to find Emil in a towel. Emil gets defensive and flings a heavy suitcase to his head, knocking him out. Hayato wakes up and berates Emil for what he did. Emil berates him for not knocking. But as it turns out, they're roommates, much to Emil's joy. The next day, the duel starts. The rules are explained. Given Hayato's inexperience, Claire promises not to use her body armor. Seeing that Emil is contacting Hayato, the referees prohibit it because in the match, each contestant is supposed to think on their feet, without outside support. However, Claire lets it slide, seeing that Hayato is a newbie. As Claire and Hayato ready themselves for the fight, a countdown starts. Before the countdown ends, Hayato's suit flings him onto Claire. Hayato finds himself on top of her in an awkward moment. Hayato snaps back to his senses, apologizes to her, and tells her he can't control his powers. Claire attacks him, but Hayato successfully dodges her attacks until she lands a punch in the guts. Claire fires at him again, ready to end this battle once and for all. However, thanks to Emil's instructions, Hayato makes a barrier, blocks her attack and charges at her with his sword, but Claire blocks the attack with her hands. Hayato then fires an energy ball at Claire, which Claire blocks with her shield. In response, Claire lets out her cannon and shoots at Hayato, who turned out to be a real pain in the neck. However, Hayato's eye turns yellow as he dodges her attack, charges at Claire in a supersonic speed, splits her cannon in half, and overwhelms her with his attacks. Again, Claire pulls out her cannon and shoots Hayato in the face to finish this duel already. However, Hayato activates his full body armor, stunning everybody including Claire herself. Hayato attacks Claire. Everything's going surprisingly well for him, until Claire activates her full body armor and launches her rockets at Hayato. Hayato tries blocking them with his barrier, but his barrier fails him, as Claire's rockets penetrate it, knocking Hayato out. Emil rushes out to check on his friend, and berates Claire for breaking her promise. Claire, despite being the winner, admits she lost, given that she broke her promise. Therefore, the duel ended in a draw. Later on, Hayato wakes up to find Claire by his side. Claire is skeptical of his identity, as she asks him how he managed to activate his full body armor, despite being a newbie. But Hayato tells her he himself doesn't know. The next day, Hayato and Emil hang out together. Hayato became so popular after the duel that everybody is staring at him. Suddenly, Hayato gets a call from Karen, asking him why he didn't tell her about the duel. She also asks if he's dating a girl, to which Hayato answers, no. After the hospital allowed her to go out, Karen meets up with Hayato and Emil and hangs out with the two. Looking at Emil, Karen asks him if he's gay. her brother shuts her down. Later, the three go to a cafeteria. While there, Claire shows up and proposes to Hayato to join the student council and go on missions against savages, given his prowess. Hayato just stands speechless, not knowing what to say. Emil jumps in and urges Hayato to join, as he also requests to join, apparently thrilled to fight savages. He also challenges Liddy, vice president of the student council, to a duel to prove his worthiness. Liddy refuses. As Emil taunts her, she accepts to put him in his place. Surprisingly, Emil turns out to be a perfect match for her, as Claire decides just to stand by and watch, eager to see how this ends. The duel is interrupted as the alarm sounds, alerting everyone of a savage attack. To Claire, it's a call of duty, so she decides to fend off the attackers. 3 savages are seen attacking the Sway Island. After evaluating the situation, Chris, Little Garden's analyst, tells Claire the savages are too powerful, so it's too dangerous for Emil and Hayato. Hayato and Emil convince Claire to let them fight, but Claire refuses given that they've never been on a real mission before. But Hayato asks her what use his skills are if he can't use them to protect people. He also mentions the incident that happened to him in his childhood and how he doesn't want it to happen to anyone. Thus, Hayato and Emil are in, starting the counter-attack. Erika and Liddy kill the first savage instantly. Then Emil and Hayato attack the second. Initially, they have a hard time dealing with it, but with teamwork, they manage to take it down. Meanwhile, the girls are having even a harder time fighting the strongest savage, as it seems it got the better of them. Erika and Liddy are injured. Claire attacks it, but she doesn't have energy left. The savage shoots at her again, but Hayato rushes in and saves her. However, the savage shoots another beam at them, but Hayato and Claire block it with their barrier. Emil charges at the savage, but the savage attacks the unconscious Liddy. Emil saves her and takes the hit instead. To Hayato's surprise, Emil is a girl named Emilia whose life he saved during a previous savage attack, which explains Emilia's over-friendliness to Hayato. Before the savage could finish Emilia off, Hayato rushes in and saves her. Again, Hayato goes berserk, releases his ultimate power, and aggressively attacks the savage. Emilia kisses him to get him back to his senses and tells him to focus what's left of his power on defeating the savage. Thanks to Emilia's support, Hayato splits the savage in half, thus ending its threat. In the aftermath, Claire accuses Hayato and Emil of being lovers, but Emil reveals to her that she's Emilia. After returning, Hayato fills his sister in on all the details of his first epic battle. At night, Hayato asks Emilia about her posing as a boy, and why he lost control over his powers back at the battle. As to Hayato going berserk, Emilia tells him that he got infected with the savage's virus when he saved her life earlier, so he's a variant. In order not to lose control again, he must train hard to control his powers, which is the reason Emilia enrolled in the first place. As for posing as a boy, Emilia has 2 reasons. 1, she doesn't want to talk about it. 2, she wanted to be with Hayato. Claire enters to separate the two and move Emilia to another room. She also agrees to keep Emilia's identity secret. After a while, Claire gets a call from Sakura, a famous singer, who wants a bodyguard. After her last concert got cancelled due to the last savage attack, Claire recommends Hayato for the job, given his pivotal role in stopping the last savage attack. Hayato accepts the job and stipulates that he tells his sister about it. Karen has him promise to get 2 tickets for the concert, as well as an autograph. Liddy takes Hayato to the airport and tells him to be extra careful. Sakura's plane arrives, as Sakura greets them both. On the way to the hotel, Sakura starts talking music, but Hayato is not really into music. At the hotel, Sakura starts talking marriage, given that they're both famous. Hayato blushes and tells her to knock it off. Sakura persists, and dwells on the thought, prompting Hayato to lash out and saying yes on the condition that she shuts the hell up. Later on in the day, Hayato accompanies Sakura at her events and fan meetings. At the end of the day, Sakura takes Hayato to where she'll perform. She also shows him her special 100 which, according to Charlotte, can fly and enchant people when she sings. At night, Claire calls Hayato, requests his report about his day and informs him of stolen variable stones. The thieves are still unknown and are still out there, so he should be more careful. At night, 3 people are secretly watching the concert site from a distance, seemingly planning on something shady. During his free time, Hayato goes on a date with Emilia but is interrupted when Claire calls him again, tells him Sakura is missing and orders him to search for her. The minute he hangs up, Sakura shows up and takes Hayato away from Emilia to a scenic spot where she used to go with her mother. While there, Sakura sings a tune Hayato recognizes, since his sister used to hum it a lot. When Hayato tells Sakura his sister's name, Sakura turns out to know her, as she reveals that she spent some time with them at the Children Institute when they were little, and her father sold her to a research lab after she lost her voice due to a virus. There, she got injected with the variant virus in a test conducted by a scientist. Many of the test subjects died. Only Sakura survived. Sakura decides to go back to the hotel. On the way back, the two are attacked by savages, Hayato tries to fight them off, but Fritz, Leisha and Emilia rush to their rescue and fight the savage. However, the three from earlier show up. The boy, Kravin, knocks out Hayato. The two girls, Nesat and Nakri, replicate Hayato's weapon, kill the savage, and extract its core. Before they flee, they mention bringing back the core to the scientist responsible for injecting subjects with the variant virus. A helicopter arrives to pick up Hayato and the rest back to safety. The next day, Claire explains that those three are hunters, as they're hired to steal savage cores used to manufacture hundreds. While Sakura does her concert, Karen immediately recognizes Sakura after she sings her favorite song. Finally, she gives Karen her autograph, kisses Hayato on the cheek, and leaves. Later on, while the gang enjoys their vacation on the beach, they're interrupted by Judar's arrival, Claire's brother. Judar greets them all and compliments Hayato on being the holder of the divine blood. As he leaves, he tells Claire they're going to have a talk. Following the vacation, Hayato encounters Judar, who takes him to the basement and shows him Lisa. Lisa is the power source to Little Garden, and she is also Judar and Claire's sister. Claire shows up and confronts Judar for telling their secret, but Judar explains that Hayato is of divine blood and has the ability to awake their sister. Hayato tries but fails. Judar reveals that the scientist responsible for injecting subjects with the variant virus is his ex-girlfriend, and she is after Lisa. He wants Hayato to protect her. On their way out, Claire orders Hayato not to reveal this secret to anyone. Later, Claire briefs the group about their mission. They're going on a big mission to clean some areas of the savages, and the three hunters will be there, so Claire wants them to be captured alive. Prior to the mission, Emilia is tackled and hugged tightly by Claudia, her old childhood friend. Claudia reveals that Emilia is Gutenberg's princess and tries to talk her into going home with her. To her disappointment, Emilia refuses because of her relationship with Hayato. Enraged at Hayato, Claudia challenges him to a battle. If she wins, Emilia goes home with her. As it commences, Claudia attacks Hayato, but Hayato dodges her attacks and defeats her with one single attack. The mission starts. Claire divides the Slayers into teams and sends them to multiple spots to kill the savages. At night, Claudia has the teams keep watch of the perimeters should savages attack. Afterward, Hayato asks Claire why she became the Academy's president. Claire tells him she's seeking to maintain peace and to protect the powerless. She later reveals that Lisa, her sister, was born a variant. Trying to save Claire's life, she released all of her variant energy, reducing her to a body used to provide power to Little Garden. So, she had to become a president to protect her little sister, which is something Hayato can relate to. Their conversation is interrupted when hunters attack. Claire has the upper hand first. However, the battle takes a drastic turn when rain falls, empowering the hunters. The hunters knock Claire out, but the others rush to her rescue. Emilia attacks and beats Nesat and Nakri. Meanwhile, Hayato fights Kravan and sees his past, when he, Nesat, and Nakri were enslaved and used by the scientist. Hayato also sees how Kravan cared for the two. Kravan loses control over his power and goes berserk. A savage emerges. Kravan attacks but fails eventually. Before he passes out, he tells Hayato to protect Nesat and Nakri, which Hayato happily does. Claire has all Slayers with cannons shoot at the savage, but their attack failed to penetrate its barrier. Hayato kisses Claire and gives her the variant virus, which maximizes her powers. Claire unleashes her powers and so does Hayato. They all shoot at the savage and kill it. Hayato faints, but Emilia saves him. Following the mission, Claire plans on having a concert to celebrate Little Garden's creation. To Hayato's surprise, Karen will perform with Sakura and is given a stone to help her do so. Hayato wishes her luck. As the concert commences, the scientist sneaks past all the Slayers, using Wendy's help. As she enters, she puts Wendy to sleep. Meanwhile, Claire learns of what happened to Wendy and later on learns of the self-explosive machines that are destroying power sources around the garden. Claire figures this is the doing of the scientist, so she ends the concert, orders to get everybody out of there, and has the Slayers destroy these machines. Meanwhile, a robot hacks the air security, allowing 3 planes to land on the barrier protecting the academy. A new type of savages emerges, named the replicants. After a 4th plane lands, more replicants show up and try destroying the barrier. Hayato volunteers and decides to fight these replicants. Meanwhile, the scientist locates the 3 hunters and gives them their hundreds back. The hunters refuse to join her, but the scientist brainwashes them and forces them to do what she wills. While the scientist is on her way to Lisa, she's attacked by Mai Mai and frees the hunters from her. The scientist locates Lisa. To her surprise, Judar is there. She reveals she's doing all this to get even with Judar for using her in the past. Replicants produce sound waves that hamper the Slayers. The scientist shoots at Lisa but fails to kill her as Lisa wakes up after hearing Sakura's singing. Judar then shoots the scientist dead. Lisa emerges to tell Sakura and Karen to sing some more. Meanwhile, Hayato is fighting the remaining replicant, but runs out of power and faints. Before the replicant can kill Hayato, the hunters show up and fight it. Kraven charges at the replicant but gets injured. Nesat with her ability absorbs the replicant and transforms into a monster. Lisa kisses Hayato and gives him power. Hayato tries talking some sense into Nesat, but she's oblivious. So, Hayato activates his armor, charges at her, blocks her attacks, gets to her and eventually saves her. In the end, Hayato and Emilia make out on the bridge and are seen by their peers, forcing Emilia to disclose her secret.